Okay, guys, this is chasebt694. I played this game several weeks ago, um, and decided to kind of go back to it. Never put it up, never recorded audio, so I figured I would go back and record audio. It's been a while since I played it, so I don't really remember what happened. So I'm gonna kind of play this as I go and just kind of talk about it as fresh as I'm seeing it. It'll be interesting to see if the things I think I'm going to do are the things that I end up actually doing. So real quick, looks like we bid for sides. We both bid for two for Russia. I won the flip for USA. So kind of a normal standard opening setup. And then looking at cards, looks like I have a decent start hand. I do have blockade. But no worries. You don't have to worry about, say it's crisis. I have containment, Marshall Plan, nuclear test ban, NORAD. So looking at this setup, I'm either going to go containment or Marshall Plan. I'm guessing I'm probably going to go Marshall Plan and get a head start in Europe. But containment wouldn't be a bad choice either. You could actually space blockade, but then you'd have to be later. And it kind of makes cards a lot more powerful altogether. But with containment, you got 2 4-op cards, so it really helps you. 3, 4 ops. So it's kind of a push. Maybe it's better to kind of set it up otherwise. So he plays Europe. We're going to go ahead and throw our influence with Marshall Plan. And once again, kind of a normal distribution of Marshall. So headlines up. No, nothing major here going on. See what he does as far as his opening setup. Whether he coups Iran or does he play 2 in Afghanistan. Kind of that approach. So 2 influence cards. So he goes in Afghanistan. So let's see. Got some good op cards as far as nuclear test ban. Have NORAD, which will probably use the 3 ops at this point in the game. So one of the reasons why a lot of times I'll throw one in Iraq or Iran is it gives you a little bit of tempo. So if he does manage to knock you out, like he coups, knocks you completely out, you get back in. So it's usually it's like a little pester deal, so you don't get completely knocked out. So he coups Pakistan, that's okay. We're gonna, I'm gonna kind of overload it and kind of hope that I stick around. Kind of some of the approach here is that sometimes it's harder to coup somebody out sometimes than what you think. Just because you have a coup doesn't mean you're going to be successful. So even if he throws a 5-op card here, doesn't really necessarily mean he's going to win it. So he coups, he has a 1. So now unless we get war carded out, which we're still most likely to still win the war card, we're still good there. So we're going to go ahead, since DEF CON dropped to 3, I'm going to go ahead and go up to Southeast Asia. That way, if he has Vietnam or decall, he can play the event, and then you can, pop your ops back in there. So far, good. Yeah, so here he goes. He does have the card, but it's still 67% we stay. Granted, we lose it, and now we look like we wasted a lot of ops, because it is, once you lose, he gets the 2 victory points there as well. So we're going to go ahead and gamble a little bit here on the Korean War as well. If he loses that, we'll go ahead and take that. South Korea. So interesting. So looking at my 2 cards, kind of what I would want to do. Shoot, power. He does have Vietnam, so kind of have to worry about that a little bit. So Sev Kuan, you might want to just go ahead and play into Thailand, especially since my ops, when you're kind of looking at them, aren't fantastic, because you kind of thought maybe you use blockade to get rid of Suez, but then you have to use containment for the ops. Um, or, um, yeah, which is probably what I'm All right. So we got blockade out of the deck, which is always a nice thing. So now you don't constantly have to worry about making sure you have a 3 or 4 up card. You don't have to worry about the red scare blockade combo. But more importantly, it also gives us a chance at least to hold on to um, D-stall or D-call to be able to go into the round. So one of the reasons why he pressed it to get DEFCON down, which should have been tip off when he used the one op to coup, was to play Nasser. So he's got that card in the deck. We're not going to worry that much about it. So kind of looking at the board at this moment, obviously your card's already been played, but we're in good shape there. We're not bad shape in the Middle East, and we're pretty good shape in Asia, depending on what exactly happens. So looking at, it could go duck cover, catch 3 points, drop the DEFCON. But we're just going to play defectors. Turn 2 is one of my favorite play defectors because sometimes the threat of defectors is a fantastic option, as far as stymieing the Soviets, because they have to worry about it. Do you play Red Scare? But if it gets defected, it's basically a waste of a 4-op card. But turn 2, you get to play it, and then it's still, come turn 3, that the thought of it's still there. So we played defectors. It doesn't matter. It was even in Asia, 2-2, kind of a null point anyway. I think probably the biggest argument there was probably for play duck and cover, keep him from having the coup, and then you get the 3 victory points. So he coups. He's only halfway successful. Several different cards to choose from here. We're protected, kind of attacking into India. So hopefully, what happens here, since we know that Middle East is the only one that hadn't scored, is he essentially has to take India, or we'll take it. But it also gives us a little bit of tempo to be able to take some extra countries. So interesting. So he plays the event, Red Scare, kind of mid-turn. That's a little unusual to play. But I guess it makes sense. So we're going to go ahead and take Middle East, take one more country there. Oh, change of my mind. Going to go ahead and take India. Right. Good call. So, Stan taking a risk as far as playing the event. Then he plays. All right. So he gets the points. So he's definitely leading victory points between the military ops and catching a couple of the extra little points. If he doesn't play it for the event, he's going straight, trying to even up Middle East. One thing we were kind of hoping we played the early Marshall. Uh, Maybe NATO gets played and they get some effect. We could have caught those 2 extra points. Let's see what happens here. They discards Middle East, so it was a push anyway. But we get them to use 5-year plan now versus saving it. For example, next time, we're in pretty good shape. So, the big question here is you got 2 options. He's already got the military ops, so we're going to save you an intervention. We're going to go ahead and try to protect India from the war card there. And he wins it. So we are hurt. So we're down 10 points going into turn 3. We do have defectors again, and then our other leading cards really only other choice is play Europe scoring. But we have De Gaulle, so I think we'll be able to take France. So we're gonna, make that play with a chance to score 5 points into Europe. We get red scared, of course. So might make playing De Gaulle a little trickier. We have a bunch of his cards, the Soviets cards, but it's nothing we can't deal with. Comic-Con's not that big of a deal. De Gaulle in the U.S. hand, I think it's a card you actually want to get as U.S. So let's see what happens here. So he coups a big 4-off card and he hits a 6. So that hurts us in the Middle East. But at least it gives us a country in Asia, and now Asia looks solid. So we're going to go ahead and trigger this. Oh yeah, I'm sitting here thinking that I'm under red scare, but thank goodness for the defector. So we defected, so we're still fine op-wise. So that's a pretty huge back-to-back defectors. So the first time it didn't matter, but the second time it definitely came in pretty huge. So he does go ahead and take Algeria, which is probably the worst thing as far as U.S. as far as taking, using De Gaulle to take France. All right, so we do 2 things here. We now look like we have Europe. I don't think he's going to battle for Europe. So that's why I didn't go ahead and throw the 2 extra ops into some of the non-battlegrounds. Because we have it. I don't see him suddenly throwing a bunch of ops to try to keep it from happening. We still have the ops to be able to stop any of the major insurrections. We throw the 1 extra. We go ahead and take the extra battleground in the Middle East just to lessen the blunt of that scoring card. So he plays Middle East, good timing. So so instead of him scoring it for 4, we score it for 3. And then we're able to score right back. So, and then looking at our cards the rest of the way, obviously Nuclear Test Pan's a big 4-off card, and we're in good shape with that. Oh, so he does get decal. See what he does with it. Surprised he didn't put 1 in Thailand. But he's puts him in fantastic shape in Africa. Going ahead and trying to counteract a little bit here in the mid-war battleground areas. Trying to anchor down in South Africa. If we have a little tempo, we might try to throw our 4-op card into Angola, but we do have to worry about getting food. Might go ahead and space Suez, or maybe you go ahead and just try to get it out of the deck. So depending on tempo here, the benefit for going ahead and spacing now is gives you an opportunity to next round, if he hits his space and gets only space 2, you attempt a space to keep him from being able to start spacing 2 cards. So the other option here is you could also take Nuclear Test Ban and attempt to go ahead and realign, out of South America with the idea, hopefully, that you're down 1 roll, most of those rolls, but maybe get a little lucky and knock him out. That way, he can't have complete control. So, as you would say, the 2 worst things, in my opinion, is typically in a game is when so even rolls here in Mexico. So we'll at least get them out of 1. We're going to go Chile. Okay, even roll. Okay. All right. So I would say probably that was a pretty poor use of that card. That was a mistake. We'll go ahead and space this. I definitely get the argument for getting that card out of the deck. I think having the opportunity to be even on the space track at this point was a big thing. And some better, more beneficial USA cards come into the deck. You want them to have problems with it. So we're going to play Containment. One of the main reasons we're going to play Containment is because of Lone Gunman. It lets us space Lone Gunman and get it back out, where we don't have to deal with that. Other cards at this point, Che, we don't really worry about it because we don't have any non-battlegrounds out there at this moment. His headline doesn't hurt us by the scoring card. But we're in trouble. We're okay in Europe, but scored. We're okay in Asia. We need to come out, but we're way behind South America and Africa. So, comments that he whiffs on Cambridge. I do too. So it's going to coup. It's likely Panama. All right, so it's not successful. So that's huge. All right. So he plays Vidal. There's no place for him to actually coup here. So just wait for the opponent to click the button. I don't know why it doesn't go ahead and automatically pass through that, but oh no, I take that back. You can actually coup Costa Rica. So which is the only place. But even if he rolls a 6, you're okay in Costa Rica because it would just knock you out. He wouldn't be able to get anything in there. So all right, so we're going to see if we can realign. Knock 2 out. We can knock them on out. Come on now. So we knocked 2 out the first roll. You're feeling pretty good about it. Oh yeah, forgot. Nope. So we had four tries of knocking them out on even, and we do not pull it off. All right. Good news is we should be able to get our military ops. Um, no, tempo wise, we still definitely have to um, space race for sure. So he plays. Yeah, thinking about it. All right. There's the space race. I can actually space an extra card now, depending on what he does. So we might be able to go ahead and space liberation theology. Might have been a mistake based off of how he played this round, not going ahead and going into Mexico. Okay. So he likes to give me the China card. Um, two things. Good chance he has the card to all right. So to get the China card back. However, when he didn't go ahead and score Central America, it pretty much passed the hand he doesn't have it. So that's one of the reasons why tempo wise I laid off of that move a little bit. So he goes into Coos. I do need to take Mexico though. So he spaces, misses. And there's a couple things we could do here. Hopefully, I'd like us to go into maybe Algeria. Okay, we try to take Angola. But that's really a ripe target. Maybe been even a better shot to do something a little different. But we do have duck and cover, so we can drop the DEFCON to keep him from cooing. But we do have South America, so maybe we try Bear Trap to be able to have a chance to coo into the region. If we fell there, we do have Asnot, which lets us get rid of the South American scorecard. So let's see where he attempts. He can go into Asia if he likes, or he could go ahead and kind of fortify his position in Africa. So he gives that a go. Fair enough. All right. So we do have cooing opportunities. We're going to take our 3-op card, see if we can coo, and we roll a 2. Anything else besides a 1 or a 2 there, we're fine. That's pretty unfortunate. So we had a 67% chance of getting into the region. Now he's out of it. So we could score South America 2 points, or we could go ahead and get rid of it. Or 4 points. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead. No, we're going to get rid of the South American card via Asnot. We got rid of Lone Gunman already. Nice. Catch some victory points here. Nice big 5 victory points. That's pretty big. And also explains why he went after the card he went after. So one thing you also want to be careful with Asnot is you don't want to put yourself in a position where you accidentally get a couple scoring cards. You're up creek. So all right, pretty good drawback as well. Clone rear guards and voice. So good options here. Can't really hurt him in South America. Overprotected. We're going to play it here on the southern part of Africa. and give us a chance to kind of flip it. And then we could play Colonial Rearguard and actually use it to take back some countries as well. Of course. Okay, so still playing Colonial Rearguard. Gonna kind of let us reprotect and take some. So good news is he was up to 10 points. Oh, nice. So Asia scores. It looked like he was going to run away for a second, but the tide has shifted. Now we're on the positive end of scoring. His major place to get victory points at this point, we were able to shuttle away too, which is kind of nice. We could pick up 2 victory points with Alliance for Progress. We're going to go ahead and try to knock him out of the region. We got +3 modifier. So kind of the idea here is make it a little harder for him to get around. Nice. So that was advantageous realignment. We kind of knocked his place, the chance to knock out or do influence into South Africa. And then obviously knocking him out Chile is pretty huge. Unfortunately, that was a really bad tournament as far as a Muslim revolution. We didn't have a whole lot of influence. Like we originally started off the game okay in the week, but now we are in big time trouble. So, great news. We do have grain sales. If he played Missile Envy right now, we'd win the game. Guess we would pull a card. We would definitely coup. Bury you. That's why in Russia, you really have to be careful with Missile Envy. But grain sales, one of my favorite cards in the deck, as you asked. It lets you pull a card. So now he has to do with hand reduction. A lot of times will give you a chance to coup. Hands down one of the best cards, and then if you get something super nasty, you can always give the card back. This is a tough one. I wouldn't mind him having to deal with that card himself. And cooing with his 2-out card. It does, however, get him in a situation where he's not. I like him to be in a situation where he doesn't have the hand size. And so that's maybe a reason why I should have kept that card. But just thinking about it, probably should have kept it, cooed with it, and then played the Nixon card to be able to get the China card. And really put him kind of where maybe he was thinking he was be able to get out of it. So maybe an opportunity there we missed. So good try with the brush war. It just sucks that we missed. We'll do Central America for even. Should have definitely maybe had a chance to coup something there, but at least we're able to pick up 3 points through arms race. So the major thing that hasn't been definitely pretty huge to be able to get a country back in the Middle East. We're struggling there. So a lot of times, tempo in this game, Junta's still out there though. I like that. I don't think I've seen it, but which means either he has it now and is going to play it right back on us, or it's going to come out next turn. So Willard Brand does here. Go ahead and solidify our position a little bit. I don't really know why I just did that. I think the idea was that I could realign. He would try to finish his influence and then realign. Um, but I'm assuming he's just going to attempt to coup that one spot, and so solidify his position. Yeah, ridiculous. But he rolls a one, thank goodness. We're going to get the China card back. All right. But we do have Africa, so we would like to be able to drop DEFCON to keep him from cooling. So turn 7 is always pretty volatile. We're going to play John Paul. So idea here is, because he hasn't been able to really overprotect up there that much. I was hoping to be able to make him choose between cooing or not cooing. So what he'll do here is he'll be able to coup and then be able to address the situation. But hopefully, what that will do is it will allow us to be able to score Africa, or be able to place our influence and score Africa. So. Doesn't help us at all. He gets independent reds out of the deck. And he repairs. Alright. So we're going to give Chile a little protection. That way it won't be as easy to coup us out. Right. So the idea here is in Africa is that he's basically got to take his one country back. He can take it back. I can give a shot at realigning now. If he decides to coup, then I could just take the country and then have control. If I pretty good play, the only downside to that specific play is it might have been better to have no, that works. All right. There's 6. Can't complain with that. But one thing he could have did if he would have cooed Sahara States, then he could. I take the country and then he can slam a 3-out card. Oh, come on. So that's twice. He's had a 33% chance over there and won it in Asia. So it hurts in Asia, especially when that was a region. Really kind of counting on to score some point. But we'll just have to deal with it. pick up 2 points with the with that. But because I played, he plays Missile Windy. Sucks. We need military ops. We roll big six. Um, I'm tempted. I would be tempted here, I think, to also play shuttle diplomacy, just because of the chance of what it could do playing Asia. Being able to score Asia by removing one of its battlegrounds, and it also kind of helps us a little bit if we suddenly lose Egypt, where he couldn't have that for complete control. So kind of double protects. So it's definitely tempting to possibly play that card as an event versus the 3 ops, which is tough because the 3 ops is pretty huge. NATO never came out, I think. So and we did. We actually did play that. So we're heading to late war. The score is definitely, gone back and forth. He was up 10, I was up 10. So it swung 20 points in the mid war. Now we just got to see if we can build onto our lead here in the late war. Looking at our cards, we've got a bit of a mess. We've got Quagmire, Liberation Theology, Portuguese. Don't really have a great headline here, so I can play this. It's just going to get us 1 victory point, and we're red scared. So this might be a tough round. Because we will have a bunch of cards that we can't do anything with. So also it makes playing Quagmire, we can't play Quagmire. This can't happen because we don't have, this can't do it. Yeah. We do have UN interventions, which is going to help us get through this. But so Romania, that hurt us. We can coup 1 card. The only card I can coup, not coup, space is Quagmire. I could probably manage Portuguese Empire. I'd rather play that versus Liberation Theology. So I would say play Portuguese, UN Intervention, Liberation Theology, Space Quagmire, and deal with everything else. But it's gonna be a bad round. They don't have a lot of ops. This point in the game, he's probably happy to see Romanian, independent Reds is out of the deck. Yeah, so I haven't really done a good job of picking up the little battlegrounds, so you could actually try to compete for that. It might be something we want to do too, to try to protect. All right. We're definitely not protecting here. We're not discarding for sure. Just let them overprotect. It is what it is. South America, we're just kind of hang on, make sure we don't lose Chile, which we've really done a poor job. We were going to go into Peru. That was a priority thing, and then lost tempo of that. We haven't done it, so we've got to be careful there. So we got to at least throw it up here. and we just don't have the option to take that back. So he's got it if he wants it. I could throw some ops in there just to slow it down a little bit. And that's what we do. But looking back on that, what should I have done instead? Probably have played Spain, Portugal to protect against the brush war. Probably what we should have done. Right. With space. Good one hit. Hey, shuttle government. He would have actually scored that for 5 of 6 if we didn't have shuttle government out. So we'll count that as a win. And what we can also do with Portuguese Empire is we can play it within coup. These spaces. He's finally successful, so pretty much for being able to space more than one card, but all right. Well, that was pretty awful, but we survived without too bad of damage. He flipped Asia because of it, so assuming he's going to call that a win. We do have Chernobyl, which is pretty awesome, and Europe is in kind of an interesting position. Looking at other cards that we have, we don't really have anything I'm that worried about here. I'd actually try to say Chernobyl next round. Might actually tip 5-year plan. Go ahead and also try this little Iraq war here deal. Oh, brush war. Don't get Italy. Oh, okay. See if we can get lucky here. We're only a 6. All right. So we're up the creek in Middle East. That was pretty awful. So he scored in Middle East for a cajillion. Let's see what hasn't scored. Middle East hasn't scored, so it's still out there. Europe hasn't scored. South America hasn't scored. Central America. Well, at least we have ops to kind of fight back this round. Last round was a just hang around. So at least we catch 2 victory points here for this card. So you think with the play here is that he's trying to get to Peru to try to set up the realignment. So we're going to go ahead and take it first and then also overprotect that here. It might be worth playing our man at Tehran as well as the event to try to shuttle the Middle East card. Maybe it'll pop up and we can get rid of it. So he plays Decal. Wow. Man, it's amazing. He has flipped Asia completely. We're going to play this event. We'll see if we can get rid of Well, at least we get rid of some pretty huge stuff. So Alger games down the stretch would have been pretty horrific. Getting Warsaw packs, so we don't have to worry about it if we make a play into East Germany or Poland. Alan A and Chase. So yeah, pretty great. Our man Ferran, we would have liked to have gotten the Middle East scoring card, but we can't complain about that little mix. And we definitely won't tear down this wall to stay in deck. It would be awesome to get that. But things we need to try to do, need to kind of re-solidify a little bit what we did here in Africa. Protect them back from the Suez crisis, but yeah, based off of how we played it, it's fine that we left it in the deck early in the game. Didn't really come back to bite us. Public government does not really help us a whole lot here. I guess we can kind of see if we can make it help us a little bit. Public government is definitely a card as you early in the mid war, not late war. It can still help. Some certain situations definitely still helps, but it didn't really help us a whole lot there. So the reason why I didn't worry too much about it on his end. Man, let's keep on losing. Let's keep back and forth. So, going ahead and protect it again. Just make sure we've got Europe. Kind of showing this point in the game that early in the game he definitely played defectors, give up the 1 point, and then we would, definitely space public government. At this point in the game, every point matters, and he plays public government and spaces. Also lets you know he doesn't have any crazy in his hand. Gotcha. So I was checking the deck, some cards that were still in the deck. The likelihood that I got DEFCON suicided. Hoping to get a little luckier, so he can't hold a card. Nice. So we get a victory point. He gets a repair, but luckily for us, prevents flower power from happening, which is pretty awesome since we actually do have that card. So we don't have to worry about it. And then now I have Chernobyl and flower power. So maybe we'll make a run here in Europe. And then we're going to headline Chernobyl and we're going to go run at it. And with that being said, East European Unrest comes out. Huge card for us. And then we've got some big op cards, Muslim Revolution, BM Treaty. We have Solidarity, which will also help us. So here's a game where it's pretty tight, pretty close. The last 2 rounds, he's kicked our butt. Flipped Asia. He's pretty great in a lot of other places. But we're going to take a run at Europe domination. So I don't know if he can stop it. I'm just looking at my ops and what I can remove. We're going to be in pretty good shape here op-wise for this. I don't think he can score enough points beforehand. There's a couple cards where he can gain some a little bit of help, but Warsaw packs out of the deck. It's in the discard pile. Would be the biggest thing we would worry about. Discard pile. Pretty awesome spot right here. So nice. So he's going to duck and cover. So we get 3 points there. It's kind of interesting. And he's going to go into stuff, but we're just going to play this full bore Europe. Yeah, that's a bad combo. So for him, I mean, as far as getting solidarity and all those things, and we catch Europe scoring 7 there, so 16. So good shape here. It'd be interesting. Like, I really do think that we'd probably good chance we win this without going for European control. But European control was the deluxe way to win this game. Doesn't happen too often. A lot of times going forward is fool's gold. He does catch 10 points. So he's going to pull a card out. If we had to pull a card out, that's a good one to pull. So pull 2 cards out. Yikes. But we're still okay. We didn't really have the DEFCON suicide card, so we're all right. But 4, 5, 6, yeah. So we're still all right. The one thing I guess we're probably worried about is it's got a couple cards where he can add or remove influence here. So we're going to try to overprotect here. Let's go ahead and do his condolences. We appreciate it. But you never know. Let's have his terrorism play pretty nice. To be able to pull cards that would have had Lone Gunman or something like that. He definitely had a chance to catch me for sure. So one thing, we went and played the China card, which I don't really know if he's got a card that can pull the China card out from me at this point, because I'm pretty sure his main card to do that got played. But just in case, I went ahead and played it. I know I still have the other 4-op card with ABM Treaty, and then plus that kind of gives me a little versatility with that card too. So at this point, because of what we were able to do here, we're not really worried about some of these other regions. So looks like he's, when we look at the end of the board, pretty crazy, but we're also really trying to just overprotect big time. By at least 2 on every play. And then with ABM Treaty, I mean, we could. I don't think it's really going to matter, but if we wanted to cue something in the Middle East or just throw something in the Middle East to keep him from having control for control's sake, or go into Africa, try to coup Algiers to try to have control there, we could do that. So, but it doesn't matter. That's playing. No idea. Yeah. 1. All right. So big win. Big European control win. Doesn't happen too often, so glad to get that victory. Um, Once again, a lot of swings in this game. USSR gets up early, pushes the lead to 10 points. We fight back. We push our lead all the way to 10 points. And then really late war, we really get outplayed. His Red Scare comes out at a bad time, turn 8. We didn't have a lot of ops in that hand. He's able to flip Asia and then put himself in good position to kind of keep things even in Africa and a couple other places. So anyway, good game. Glad we played it, and see you next time.